Good evening. Welcome to the Psychic Call Shop. I'm Aeson Knight, and I'm sitting down tonight with Michelle. She's not only been on TED Talks, she's written 4 books, run multiple companies, and been in the business world for more than 30 years. And now she's setting the sparks off for others. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to be here with you. It's fun.
It is. It's always fun. I love sitting down and talking with people that have been in the business and are now kind of passing the torch along. So, what have you seen going on within the entrepreneur space?
Oh, wow. So I'm pretty immersed in like the online world.
Mm-hmm.
And um, it's amazing to me how many people don't really know what that is. So um, I talk about it, and then people say, is that English? But when you go to a website and it says, "Give me your email and I'll give you a free gift," that's the start of the online world, right? And then you get
Right.
emails, you get autoresponders. Not everyone realizes there's a whole business behind that. There's a whole machine behind that. And what I've noticed is that it's gotten really crowded. Like during COVID, everybody jumped into coaching, everybody jumped
Mm-hmm.
into being a soulpreneur or doing a heart-based business and coaching other people into business got really crowded. And now it's starting to filter out a little bit. So you got to be pretty serious on your game, know what you're doing to last,
Mm-hmm.
right? To still be here
Right.
like 3 years, a couple of years later, and making a living at it, not just having a hobby, right?
Right.
Nothing wrong with that, as they say. It's
Right.
just what is your intention here? And I've noticed that um, people take a little bit longer to buy than they did maybe a year or two ago. They think about
Right.
it a little bit longer. Um, doesn't mean they're not buying; they're still buying. But
Yeah.
used to be, I heard there was 3 touch points before someone would buy. Like you'd meet them 3 times in
Mm-hmm.
person, or they'd get an email and then see you on the
Right.
street and then see you on Facebook or whatever. Now I hear it's 17.
17. Wow, that's gone up from what I knew. Because
That,
when
that
I
is
came up, it was
crazy.
7.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 17, but I heard that in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, dang, that's a lot of touch points. But I work with all kinds of people, but some people have been on my email list for 15 years, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
just sometimes it's a long game, and
Mm-hmm.
other times people buy like that. But that's kind of what I see shifting a little bit is that
Right.
online coaching space.
What do you think makes a good business coach?
Uh, Probably the same things that make a good human being: empathy, listening, try to be understanding,
Mm-hmm.
don't pretend you have all the answers, right?
Right.
All of those things. I think in terms of a business coach, there really isn't one right way for everybody, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
buy my blueprint. You too can make $2 billion by noon tomorrow. It just doesn't really
That
work
don't work.
like that. And
No.
and we're all different, and there
Mm-hmm.
isn't one right way for everybody. And so I do really well on Facebook, and
Mm-hmm.
all ages of people on Facebook. People say, "Oh, it's only women over 50." I got all kinds of people on Facebook. I don't
So do
really
I.
I don't really do as well on Instagram, but some of my clients are knocking it out of the park with followers and engagement on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. And other people use LinkedIn. Other people aren't on social at all. You can run a business and not be on social. You can.
How?
Well, you've got to do something else. You have to be
Yeah.
involved in your local community somehow. You have to find other ways to connect with
Mm-hmm.
people, whether it's speaking, joining Rotary Club, if that even still exists. I don't even know after COVID. Giving classes, doing workshops, going to events, going to conferences,
Mm-hmm.
networking that way, right? There's still a lot of in person
Right.
stuff that
Oh
goes on.
yeah.
And some people don't consider maybe YouTube social or podcasting, right? Those are
Right.
things on the fringes of social that you could
Right.
podcast, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be like the social networks.
Right. And I could see that happening. But I'm just like, it has become so ingrained in like the culture. I mean, I'm starting to wait for like parents at age 13 starting to have a social party for their kids that can actually go on social media now.
Yeah, right. Um,
You know,
it's I don't think we know like what this has really done to our brains yet, our
right?
creativity. I am concerned about our attention span and our creativity, but I
Hmm.
trust that humans will evolve and figure it out. I have a lot of
Hmm.
faith. I don't know why right now, but I still have faith in the human race. Um,
I have
and
faith in the human race. I don't have full faith in the human ideaism updating as fast as we think it does.
yeah, yeah,
You know, you brought up followers, and I'm like, yeah, I've got like, I don't know, we get we get thousands and thousands of listens, but you look at my follower count, it's like 600 or 400 on
right,
this, and I'm like, great. I'm in that generation. It's like cool. I can reach people. I can connect with them. They can connect with me. They can connect with my follower. The people come on, that type of thing. But I'm more invested in that one-on-one connection.
right, right.
You
Yeah.
know, um, and I wonder if I'm the old man now sitting in the corner going, in my day we sat down and had a cup of coffee and a real conversation. You just didn't like a post I put out.
Right. No, my daughter would agree with you. She's 20 and she would much rather be face to face having tea with somebody than posting on
Hmm.
social. She's not interested. I think there might be generations coming up now, maybe some of them,
Hmm.
like my daughter and some of the other kids I see she hangs out with, where they're just not really that interested in social. Um,
Hmm.
I maybe it's a personality thing. I don't think we know yet. But going back
Right.
to your point, it's what makes you a good podcaster, right? Because you can
Right.
connect and
Right. And interlink and have
conversation,
conversations. Now you
right?
threw out a term that's kind of a buzzword right now. And then now it's taken a new buzzword. Heart-based businesses
Yeah.
and soul-based
Or
businesses in the
soulpreneur,
spiritual box.
right?
Yeah. What are those?
So I think it started in the coaching industry, right?
Hmm.
Where people would say, I'm going to help you I'm going to be your coach and help you run your business from a heart-centered place, from a soul-centered place. Tends to be service professionals, healers, maybe someone
Hmm.
like yourself, right?
Right.
Um, who feel like they really got to be in touch with purpose, feel like their heart has to be in the game or they're not going to do it, right? But
Hmm.
in reality, I mean, I like what you say, they're buzzwords, because in
Yeah.
reality, I think every entrepreneur's got their heart in it. No entrepreneur goes into business and go thinking,
Right.
I'm going to go do this, that, and the other, make a bunch of money. I mean, maybe, but your heart has to be in it to make it successful and to hang in there with it and do it for the long haul. And
Hmm.
so I think it is just kind of a buzzword because I think those businesses have always been around, but it's mostly used in the coaching industry, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's connected a lot with the coaching industry. It's connected a lot in the psychic industry, which I don't know. Like that is becoming like they were cousins, like distant cousins,
sure.
and it's growing so and so much anymore. It's like that area is getting gray,
Right.
getting real
Can
gray.
I come for a reading and have you coach me?
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
little bit like so therapy is definitely different, right? But
Right.
there are some coaches that talk about trauma and triggers, and there are some
Hmm.
therapists that go into coaches, even though there's a clear legal distinction.
Right.
And
Yeah. We don't talk to psychologists unless they're on my couch. Also,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, it's but coaching wasn't really in it. I mean, it's been around a long time, right? Leonard, whatever his name, started it like 30 years ago or whatever's sort of opened it up beyond sports, and It's been around a long time, but it's really the last 3, 4 years where it just went boom.
Very much so, and we're seeing such a range of coaches. So that's why I was like, what makes a good coach to you?
Yeah.
Because we see like 20-year-olds,
Oh,
and for me, looking at it going, okay, how many nights have you stayed up sitting there going over the books going, what am I doing wrong?
right. How do I make payroll? Right.
Yeah,
How do I sell something like in the next half hour? Right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a 20-year-old. So I'm like, how can that be a good business coach?
Yeah.
I mean, can it be a good marketing coach? Yes.
Yeah, I think what some 20-year-olds would be really good at
Mm-hmm.
would be maybe social media. Like I can be your social media coach, right? Because I think there's
Mm-hmm.
some Gen Z people that got that down way better than I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, but there's also like if you take a coaching certification and you're running people through a specific program with a workbook and they ask questions and you
Mm-hmm.
respond in a certain way and you've been through that program, that's fine. That's like a life coach. You know,
Mm-hmm.
how happy are you with your health? How happy are you with
Right.
your relationship? What's one thing you can do tomorrow to help your health? Right? That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like a system. And if you've been
Right.
through training, a 20-year-old can do that. But, I've got 35 years of business experience here and
Right.
marketing and I've heard it all. And
And probably seen it all.
I've seen a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Betrayal, embezzlement, wild rides, knock it out of the park, $1 million days down to, the following year, 0 day. And, I've seen it,
Mm-hmm.
witnessed it, lived most of it.
What's the mistakes that you see new entrepreneurs make?
Probably the same ones that I still make. You got business rolling in and you forget you got to keep that pipeline going. You forget that you better get 10 more people in the pipeline or 100 more people, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
depending on your offer. And make sure they're coming in and you're continually selling and putting your stuff out there. I think we all are like, whoa, I got
Yeah.
riding high right now. It's going to be a good 6 months. And then um, you just kind of forget. You ride that wave and you forget. And so, I'm always talking to new entrepreneurs, but also everyone on my team. You know, we're salespeople, and that's not a bad word.
Right.
What you're looking for is who can you serve? Who
Mm-hmm.
can we go help? And let's make sure that when they're ready, we're here and we're listening, and there's a
Mm-hmm.
connection, right? And you don't
Mm-hmm.
wait until the last minute. And entrepreneurs need to learn how to sell. They need to learn how to serve. They need to learn how to manage
Mm-hmm.
and know how to get the product or the service out as well as bring in, right? It's out,
Right.
bringing new clients,
Right.
service the old ones. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I don't know. I think also from my viewpoint, because I'm a solo entrepreneur and the product is not something that can be reproduced,
Right.
is learning the limit of the book.
What does that mean?
Like I can service 20 clients a day.
Right. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's half-hour appointments. That's not the fast networky, 4 to 8
There's no
minute.
pee break in there.
No, there isn't.
That's like
I know yeah,
you're
you
not
know,
drinking beer in the middle of the day.
no, I'm drinking coffee and normally high octane coffee.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, you hear, or at least I hear a lot of that. You got to scale, you got to keep scaling and, keep building. And it's like, no, I can't do that. There's no way to do that unless I go into group sessions, which I'm looking at. The coaching business is a whole different side of the box,
Right.
so you got to balance it out. I think that, people have to learn their limit
I think
on what business they can have.
Yeah, I think people have to honor what business they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody wants to scale. You're making whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
$60,000 a year in some parts of the country is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado Springs, that isn't, our prices went skyrocketed here in the last 5
Right.
years. You maybe 100, 200,000 a year, whatever it is. That's a lot of money for a lot of people, right? Do you
Right.
is that where you want to fit? Do you want to run a business? Do you want to
Right.
feed your family? Like, where are you? What's your ambition? There's no right or wrong here. Having ambition isn't wrong, and not having ambition
Right.
isn't wrong, right?
Right. But knowing that limit, so
Yeah.
that yeah, you've got people in that pipeline, but you ain't getting customers that are totally dissatisfied.
No. Right. Right.
That you start failing that mission.
Right. That's something I see and I've experienced too, where you get so many people in the pipeline you can't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I worry about you not even having that 3-minute break in there. 20 clients a
Oh,
day.
honey, I do. Yeah, 20 clients because I do 16 to 18-hour days.
Oh man, yeah, that's crazy.
But I've been doing it for I had to fill out something earlier, like how many years have you been here, and it's like 18 years. And it's like I kill it, I rock it, I have fun.
Yeah,
And the minute I don't, I'm stopping it.
yeah,
That was the commitment I set out when I said, okay, we're going to do this. Is when I don't have fun at it anymore, when I'm not, helping people, I'll go flip burgers at McDonald's.
right, right. Well, we were talking offline about burnout
Hmm.
a little bit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you not get burned out at those kinds of hours every day for 18 years? Yeah,
Yeah, it's having fun for
yeah.
me. What's your sign of burnout? You've been in the business 30 years. What's your signs of burnout? When you say, enough, I'm taking off to the cabin.
Huh. Um, when I just feel stuck, or I just feel frustrated with the whole thing, or nothing's moving, or I can't get new energy in. And, for me, if I'm walking a lot, like not walking like 1,000 steps, but walking a lot, 7,000
Hmm.
steps a day pretty consistently, and I'm clearing my head, for me, that helps my burnout. It keeps me in touch with
Hmm.
myself, my intuition, my creativity. It keeps my body moving. It keeps my chakras flowing, whatever you want to call it, right? All the
Right.
energy. And that's what happens when I don't walk because it's raining or I'm lazy or it's dark. Like tonight, I'm not going to get to walk. By the time I get home, it'll be dark. I'll be tired.
Hmm.
Um, I can do that for a few days, but give me a couple weeks of that. The dead of winter, I don't really like to walk when it's cold and dark. It's not my favorite
Hmm.
thing. I start feeling burned out. And I think all of us know what it is. We just don't connect the dots.
Yeah. For me, I don't connect the dots until the storm is already there.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, clear the book. I'm taking a day off. Reschedule if you have to. I don't care. Send them, I don't care. Send them a 1-for-1 coupon.
Oh,
I'm taking the day off
yeah.
because I know at the end of it's like when I do like mega events, and I may come in contact with 200 to 300 people that day, either reading, conversation, whatever.
Yep.
I know the next day needs to be blacked out because
Right.
it is gym time, it is swimming time, it is getting back to nature time.
Right. And you know who's good at that? Gen Z.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Very
good
much.
at that. The young people are like, no, I need a mental health day. Nope, not doing this. It's not good for my mental health. Nope, I'm not working 12 hours today. I'm out of here. See ya.
Yeah.
And
They've
when
gotten a whole new viewpoint on work.
they do, which, as a business owner
Mm-hmm.
and a boomer, good or
Mm-hmm.
bad, I was born in that generation. It's a different viewpoint on life that is really pretty freaking healthy most of the time, right? You
Mm-hmm.
got to balance it. But like boomers overworked and showed up
Mm-hmm.
and just figured,
Yeah.
yeah, right. And so they're the other they're the other end of that polarity, and it'll balance out. But there's some good, healthy stuff there.
There is, and there's a lot of creativity coming out of that generation.
Yeah.
Gen X's, we're moving into that position of get off our lawns. But seeing some of the things coming out, some of the thoughts and theories coming out, amazing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I got a Gen Zer that writes the newsletter for my company, and she's creative. She sits down and kicks out like beautiful newsletters. Love it. Super creative, but she's the first one to say, "I'm out of here. I need some mental health time." I mean, we would say, "Oh my gosh, my great aunt is dying," or we'd make up some excuse, right? She's
Right.
like, "I need a couple hours off. See ya." Right? It's like
Yeah.
that mental health thing has totally shifted the whole perspective on it, and that we do need some self-care.
I have a question for you. Was it cold water the first time they said that to you?
Was it what? Cold
Like
water?
cold water being thrown on your face the first time?
No, because I've got two 20-year-olds that live with me, right? So the fact that even though I'm a boomer, I brought up a Gen Zer. I
Right.
live with that. But the thing that has kind of surprised me a little bit is I have a millennial that works for me. I hope he doesn't take offense if he listens to this later. And he sort of informed me one day, just informed me, I'm going to start working from home. I've got some things going on at home. I'm not coming into the office 3 days a week. It wasn't like, can we sit down and talk about my work schedule, please? Right? It wasn't that. It wasn't like, I have some things that off. Can I please start working hybrid for a while I figure this out? No, it's like, here's what I'm doing. See you in the office next Tuesday. Right? That was more the cold water. That was like, okay, that's different. But I value him. I trust him. He's great team member. But that was different.
How much has it saved you?
In terms of money, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't think I still have a building. I still have to turn the lights on. So for that, I don't think it's saved me. What it has done is given me a very loyal team member. So it's saving me that way. And he figures out his own hours, and he works weird hours when he works from home, but he gets the work done.
Right. Well, I don't know. I think I read somewhere it's $5,000 every time you have to retrain an employee.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah.
And the other piece is, I do have a brick and mortar building. I'm in it right now, right? We got offices, we got desks. But when someone works from home, you're not turning on the lights in their office that day, or they've got their own laptop. They're not burning through the company computer and that kind of stuff. So I think it also saves money that way. But I also really enjoy coming into the office and having the collaboration that we have, and we talk. But we're on Slack too, and we got remote people, and we're all on Slack all day talking and huddling and videoing and doing all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. I will say, after the panini, I made the decision I will not go back into a store again. I am happy in it's great to do events on occasion. It's great to get out there and be face to face, but I am much more balanced in my home office.
Yeah.
I can get much more done here. I can service more clients. I can be much more on task than in a brick and mortar location. That was a big takeaway for me. It was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like,
but you still do some events, you said, right?
I do. I do events, limited events. Like, I'm not on the road. 2019, I was on the road 48 weekends a year.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Not happening again.
Right.
Not happening again. Go and do a talk, go and do a class, run a summit. I recently ran my first summit, had a lovely time. We'll do that again. Like, that experiment worked for me now.
Yeah.
but it's taking on this new viewpoint from the outer perspective of going, yeah, I think that's enough of that. And I
So,
think that's hard for entrepreneurs.
but here's my, so we're just having a conversation, right? Because here's
Hmm.
my question. We
Yeah.
talked about a little bit, I talked about lead gen and making sure the pipeline is
Hmm.
full. Doing all of those weekends and all of that
Hmm.
experience, did that give you enough credibility and clients? I'm just asking. I'm guessing that it
Hmm.
gave you a history to be able to now work from home and not worry about where your clients are coming from because you did do the hard work. Is
Right.
that true
Yeah.
or not true?
You know, okay, average lifetime's about 18 months for a client with me.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
pretty
in
good.
the
Now,
psychic world, but for the coaching
yeah,
world, that's
that's,
pretty good.
yeah, about 18 months. Then that's hands on, and then they'll do pop ins or, they go through another, and, I help them again. To be honest, looking at it from the point now, I'm 2 years we're 4 years out. I'm 2 years off, done with everything. The leads are still coming. The content is still coming. Like, I do much more content reach. I have a wider audience now than the 4 states I was covering.
Wow.
Um, so it's a trade off.
Yeah. That worked then. This works now, maybe.
Yeah, very much so. It's kind of like, surprisingly, if you listen to any marketing speech now, they push social media, they push video, which we do video now, um, but they'll push all that, that stuff. They very rarely recommend email marketing. They'll do funnels and that type of thing.
Right.
I get more responses out of my email marketing
Yeah.
and the business cards that I stick up at a gas station bulletin
Sure.
board
Yeah.
than I do from any Facebook ad.
See, it's old school, right? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't
Yeah.
all have to be social. But here's okay, so here's a question for you. Turn the tables a little bit. I'll start asking you questions.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Is your average age client? What's your average age for your client?
Average age is female 38.
Okay. I'm surprised it's that young. I would have
Yeah.
thought a little bit older. But that makes sense going into life transitions, almost
Hmm.
40, lots going on, you
Yeah.
know, kids are a difficult
Just hit that
age.
Saturn return.
Yeah, right, Saturn getting on the roof and for some of them
Hmm.
human design and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So um I would think I would think when you're going to hire a psychic that you want that personal connection with someone, and that's why
Hmm.
email works.
Yeah. They
There's more
want,
personal connection
and
there.
this is for any psychic, be
Yeah.
authentic. Because I've seen some out there, and I'm like, there is no way that you are waking up at 4 in the morning. And I see this in the coaching industry too. They'll talk about the cold showers at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it's like, oh no, you ain't doing that. Your videos don't pop out till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah,
There's no
some people
way.
do that, but it's not me.
Uh-uh.
It's
Yeah,
not me.
yeah. So you take coaching now.
Yeah,
You have clients. You're also running a publishing company.
I am. Yep.
Yeah. And you're doing some ghostwriting. What's a good point for you to enter the entrepreneur's life? What's your perfect client?
So my is that me dinging in the background there? I don't know.
No, that's me, honey.
Okay, I was gonna go turn it off.
Yeah.
So my perfect client is usually a woman, not always. Usually a woman over 50 who's got a lot of wisdom, maybe has had a career, maybe he's had some trauma, maybe he's had some transformation, but now has something to go say in the next part of
Hmm.
her life and
Okay.
wants to put that in a book, maybe do some speeches, maybe get on podcast or run a podcast or at least a microcast, a few
Hmm.
episodes of a podcast around her message, and needs help clarifying the message, like, what do I really want to say here? Am I going to throw
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Joe under the bus or not? Like, what am I really going to put
Right.
down on paper here? And my job is to help that person get super clear, get words on paper, and then figure out what we're doing with that. Are we going to go publish that book? Are we going to go on a podcast? We're going to do an audio book, probably all of it, right? And
Right.
then the people, it's not only women, but it's probably about 70% women, and usually they are pretty confident in what they're here to go do next. They may just not know how to do it, right? Maybe they've
Right.
never done a business before. Maybe they've been like, I have a client right now who's an acupuncturist, and she's got decades of wisdom about what can really help people heal and get out of chronic conditions, and she's writing a book about it. She's got lots of experience, but she doesn't quite know how to go navigate. Okay, how do I write this book? Am I going to go speak about this? How do I go to my next stage of life and ease out of acupuncture a little bit and go more into consulting and sharing and so forth?
Right.
That's what I help people do. And in the process, we publish books and sell audio books and the whole deal.
And ebooks and
Ebooks and
the flavors have, the way that media has transformed is so insane right now. I mean, because you can get an audio in 45 different languages. Doesn't matter if the author doesn't speak it. It'll translate it for them. Books, the same thing. And then ebooking, I think, has opened up publishing a lot and cut out a lot of the overhead cost.
It has. And so when we're going to talk about publishing, I have a lot to say here. The barrier to entry is low, right? So anybody can write a book, put it up. It's good and bad. It means the power's in the people's hands. Bar to entry is low. You've got something to say, you go publish a book. You can figure it out on Amazon, go watch some YouTube videos. That also means the quality of material has gotten pretty bad in some instances. And people cut corners, and they don't realize you actually do need an editor. You actually do need a professional layout designer. I got the book in the mail a couple days ago, and it's like the inside is like so bad. The types up to the very top of the book, like there's no margin. You open the book and there's no gutter in there. The words are going all the way into the spine, like they didn't know how to lay it out properly, right? And so you do still need some expertise to help you through these pieces. And then once the book is published, what do you do with it? So it used to be like 5 years ago, you'd publish a book and you'd go say, hey, I wrote a book, and people are like, oh my gosh, that's terrific. Where do I go buy it? Is it on Amazon? Congratulations. Now you're like, I published a book, and people are like, that's great. And what is your message on? And can I follow you on TikTok? And are you doing speeches? And do you have a YouTube channel or a podcast? So it's like the book has become part of the reach, part of the message, part of your marketing plan, not the only piece anymore. So that's what I coach around. That's what I do. That was your question, right?
Well, not only that, but how the industry has changed and some what I call sideline shortcuts that really hurt you. Because, I get the books too. People will hire an agent. Instead of the agent hiring them, they'll hire the agent, and they send me the books to look at, and it's bad. Like they really needed a publisher before they got an agent.
Right. They need an editor. They need a good book designer. They need a good cover. They need good metadata, which is all the back end stuff that goes out there on the internet that tells the bookstores and everybody whether they should carry your book or not. All the back end stuff that actually makes a book successful. But, you got something to say. You just want to say it, right? That's good. We all have the power to do that now. But you're a better podcaster than you were your first day. You learned
very much so.
Long way.
Oh, it's changed a lot, and it's like I think that everybody has a book. It's just they got to get it in weird things that publishers and people that do this for a living every day will catch.
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
response of a color of a cover.
Yeah.
And I'll give an example. My audience will know it. You may know the author, you may not. Silver Ravenwolf. She published her books in the late 90s, early 2000s. Beautiful beautiful purple cover with a graphic image,
And what was her
nice
name
font.
again?
Silver Ravenwolf. She's a Wiccan publisher through
Yeah, I
Llewellyn.
do know that name. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Um, so Llewellyn got all fancy and decided to release a new book. Well,
Yeah.
re-release the books, and they redone the covers. The covers are black and white and not really attention getting. And from what I understand, the re-release sold much less than the originals did.
Yeah.
And she's dealing with an audience that's now 30 years past the original publishing date.
Right.
You know,
That could be a whole number of things going on. It could be that they didn't test covers. Could be that they had a junior person working on covers. Could be that has that audience changed, and how do you go reach that audience now that is now 30, 40 years old and that age, who are attracted to different things? And you know, is the media reach beyond just publishing the book, but also on TikTok or Instagram or wherever else? Because that's probably a 30 in the 30s age group.
Yeah, right. Very much so. But it was just looking at the responses.
Right.
You know, comparatively, you know, and I've seen it done with other books too. Like they'll release two different covers.
Right.
And one cover will be high gloss, you know, really like attention getting, and it'll sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
And the other one will be looking all professional, and it'll just sit there and gather dust. I've seen it happen so many times in a physical store.
Well, and we test covers. We look at covers. We sometimes create 20 different covers.
Wow.
But you know, we occasionally change a cover. We do. Sometimes we just, it doesn't hit, doesn't land. We think it's a knock it out of the park cover. We've tested it. We get good feedback on it. And sometimes it doesn't land. That's the benefit of being a small boutique publisher with only, you know, 150 books rather than, you know, 100,000 books.
Right.
Is we can go in and change a cover and go do a relaunch a year later and try again and see. And, you know, that works.
Right.
And we haven't had to do it very often. We've done it on less than a handful of books, 3 or 4 books. But
right. And, you know, with that, are you noticing your readership change?
From
the broader scale?
Yeah, so readership is really audio listening, not so much readership anymore. However, paperbacks still outsell on audio in all of our books. It's paperback, audio, and ebook, which is, I find fascinating. Paperback, audio, ebook, in that order. I think I read a lot of fiction. Fiction readers read ebooks because they just read through them, right? They're going, read, next. Go on Kindle Unlimited or go to the library, get the free books, read. Nonfiction's not like that. Nonfiction, you buy paperbacks, you listen to the audio. Sometimes you buy both. Very often you buy both. You're trying to immerse yourself in something or learn something. But you know, it used to be that you put out a book and you get clients. That still works. You'll put out a book, you'll get clients. If you're in the nonfiction space, still works. But the client needs to get more than that one touch point. So they'll buy your book and then they'll look you up on social, or maybe they'll go connect with you on LinkedIn, or they'll look for your podcast. They'll look to see if you had a TEDx or if you're on YouTube or whatever it is. So they want more confirmation. The book isn't enough anymore. You got to have the book. Right. The same thing is if they hear you on TEDx, they're going to go see if you have a book. What else do you have to say?
Yeah. So where else do you have to say?
So it's changed. The readership has changed. Whereas it used to be buy a book. Woohoo! You know, you made it. You're an author, and now the readers are more discerning. They have more choice. They want more touch points, and they want to see what else you're doing. before they turn into a client.
And what's your viewpoint on, if you're writing a series, to have 2 books ready before going before a publisher?
So, so it really doesn't matter. I was going to say, are you talking fiction, but it really doesn't matter. What I recommend is always putting something about the next book in the back of the first book, linking the 2 books, making sure you're referencing each other. But for most people, there's got to be 6 months between launching. Not everything. It's going to depend on the book. If you have a book and a workbook, you might launch them together, ask people to buy them as a package because they're going to be able to go through the book and then do the workbook, or go through the audio, and while they're listening, work on the workbook. So there are times when you put them together, but mostly they'll be apart. If it's fiction, though, you want it boom, boom, one and then the next one right away.
Yeah, especially fiction, because I get into a lot of fiction authors, and it's like 26 books in the series, and they're churning them out every 6 months. And I'm like, no, they are ahead of that publishing status, at least 2 books.
Yeah, totally. And those writers are machines. And the ones that do have 26 books in a series, and the ones that are 2 books ahead, they got it dialed in, and they're making a living because they're writers first, and they figured out how to make a career out of writing, as opposed to most of the authors I work with, which are, I have this expertise, I'm going to publish a book, but my expertise is over here. I'm not a writer per se, right? And I have a lot of respect for those authors, because writing a book is
well, I kind of bastardized as a planning system that is designed for writers.
Okay.
But the HP90 system.
Yeah.
Love it. It really helps dial everything in for me. But some of their word counts that I see her talk about in her videos, I'm like, there's no way. I kill myself to get a weekly article out.
Right.
Much less a book.
Right. There are people, and if you want to talk about AI, I've got some thoughts about that too. Even using
I'd
AI,
love to.
You can't churn out a book a week. Nobody can churn out a book a week, right?
No.
Some people write a good, solid 500 words a day. It's pretty good, which is like a blog article, maybe,
Right.
And other people can pump that out in an hour, and other people are it's gonna be like pulling teeth. And my job is to help it not feel like it's pulling teeth, but actually get you in some writing flow, so you can get out 1,000, 2,000 words a week, something like that. But most people can't do that in a day. Writers can, fiction writers can, people who that's their career, that's their vocation, that's what they learn how to do. They've studied the craft. They understand the hero's journey. They understand what goes in the chapters, how to wrap a chapter up and bridge to the next one. Like, that's a craft. That's a different kind of writing experience than my clients.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten a novel on Yellow Pads yet?
A novel on what? Yellow Pads?
The legal pads.
Oh yeah, people mail me handwritten manuscripts all the time. Yeah. We published a book. All right, I'm going to go down a little conspiracy theory here. We published a book by a guy who, knew Elvis 10 years after Elvis had died. Okay.
Right.
Conspiracy theory book, although he says it's his true story of knowing Elvis, right? But he brought it to us all handwritten out. Handwritten. Yeah.
What's that process like for them?
Well,
for any author.
For us, you got to pay somebody to get it on digital, either us or your nephew or somebody that's going to sit there, or yourself, and type it in, because it's got to be typed in. But you'd be amazed how many handwritten notes and manuscripts we get mailed to us still. But you got to type it in. Once it's typed in, then you can go through the process of editing, seeing if there's a book, is it in the right order, fact checking, all of that. We label this one as conspiracy, so we did a little fact checking, but it's hard to fact check. So
Right. Especially, 10 years after Elvis was gone.
Yeah.
It's like, that's conspiracy. It has to go there.
But it's a fun book. I mean, it's a fun
Hmm.
book, and it was fun. And we put it in our conspiracy press. We have a press for especially those kinds
Hmm.
of things, and fun book. And
Very cool.
yeah, but we do get stuff handwritten out, but it's not. You got to fix it or pay for it to get fixed in that case.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's what you're going to get out of a boutique publisher.
Yeah, totally. A big publisher won't even talk to you. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're small. We're fun.
Hmm. Yeah. So, how can people get a hold of you? Both for coaching, for business, because you do business coaching, you do writer coaching,
Yeah.
you do a lot.
In my head, it's all the same thing, though, right?
Oh,
In my
really?
head, yes, because it's all under this umbrella of helping you get your message out.
Mm-hmm.
What's your message? What is it you're here to do? What's your purpose? What's your impact that you want to leave on the world? Are you making a business out of that? Are we bringing that online? Are you going to write a book? Let's get that
Mm-hmm.
out on paper. Let's figure it out, right? So that's really who I am. And then you
Mm-hmm.
can find me on michellecoaches.com. It's Michelle with two L's, coaches.com. And you can follow me on Facebook, download my freebies, like we talked about, give me your email and get your
Yep.
freebie stuff, and connect with me, text me, comes right to my work phone. I got my texts on there.
Right. And it's very easy to book. I took a peek at it because I'm always like, okay, so what's new? What's they doing? That type of thing. It looked like a very seamless system to
Yeah,
get
you
in
just go.
connect with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easier than me trying to connect with you. Panicked for 5 minutes before. Oh, I got the wrong link, but we
Yep.
worked it out.
And it's like,
I'm psychically putting it out there. Like, send me the
uh-huh.
link. Send me the link, and you did.
Good. Good.
Yeah,
Come back when your next book comes out because I'm sure
I
you've
would
got
love
more
that. That
coming.
would be great. I would love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. This has been awesome.
Awesome. You have a lovely evening, and I'll talk at you later.
All
All
right,
right, guys,
thanks.
we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Sandy Starr. I'm a psychic and I work on Keen, and I have been working on Keen for over 22 years. You can reach me on 01068. I deal with a myriad of subjects, but I do specialize in relationships, marriages, divorces, is he cheating, is she cheating, whatever the dynamic of the relationship is, I will guide you through. I've got amazing radar for cheaters, so I will tell you the truth if he or she is cheating. I can help with any subject you need me to help you with besides relationships, and I look forward to hearing from you. Again, you can reach me through Keen. My extension number is 01068. I really look forward to hearing from you and helping you with whatever you need me to help you with.
Hi, I'm Tracy Van. I'm a psychic medium and I work with tarot cards. I also practice Reiki and access bars. I would like to share with you what a reading with me is like. It is a blended reading of psychic and mediumship, and I deliver these messages exactly as they come through. I'm not going to mince words or add any padding. I am a professional, reliable, and honest communicator. I have readings available anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. You can book a reading with me at tracyvan.com. That's TracyVann.com. And no, I'll always tell you exactly what you need to hear.
Hey everybody, Natalie here from The Pendulum's Path. If you are in need of guidance, direction, spiritual connection, healing, or more, you have come to the right place. I have worked as a psychic and a medium for over 3 years, connecting people from all over the world with their loved ones, giving them insight and guidance into their current situations, their past healings, their blockages, and what they need to know in order for them to have a better future. It would be my absolute honor if you would come to my website at www.thependulumspath.com. Visit my shop. I have a whole bunch of crystals, oils, balms, mystery boxes, and more. And visit my services. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute sessions. I also have email readings available if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to try me out. I encourage you to come visit me at the Pendulum's Path, and let's get you back on the right track today.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here from Rowan Temple of Light, and I'm here to tell you about our events this summer. First up is Beltane in the Hills, May 13th, and that is from 1 to 6. We have entertainment, we have a bunch of vendors, we have a fairy photo shoot. It's going to be exciting. You having any questions, reach out to Earth Magic or to myself. After that, we have Central West Virginia Pagan Pride, August 19th. That's at Holly Gray Park from 11 to 5 for the day. And we will have Sarah Masters coming down from Pittsburgh to be our keynote speaker. We have some great classes for that. So if you want to get involved, reach out to Rowan Temple of Light at Gmail, or just follow us along on Facebook at Rowan Temple of Light, and we look forward to seeing you out in the community. See you there.
Right. Welcome back. Hello, darling.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good. It sounded like you guys were having a great conversation. So, yeah.
It was really fun to meet with her. It's great to see things from a publishing eye, a coach's eye. Marketing and funneling is something I haven't gotten really into. Granted, I have my newsletter. You can go join my newsletter, but it doesn't pop up the first thing in front of you.
Absolutely. Well, and I found the conversation really interesting, especially when she got into coaching, who makes a good coach, and it's anyone. And there was kind of y'all were talking about cold water in the face, and that is one of those statements you make, and you hear, and it's wait, what? But no, I totally get it. It's it's about, can you do the things that someone needs to be successful? That's it. Can you do it? Right. And are you a right fit? Are you in the right place? Are you using your talents appropriately? And so, yeah, that's an interesting one, because I think coaching specifically typically gets a little, I don't know that it's really competitive, but exactly, it's sometimes it sounds though competitive. I'm the best coach for you. No, I'm the best coach for you. I'm the best coach for you. And then to actually have someone be you can all be great.
Yeah. Right. And it's what you want to accomplish. It's like my taking back your power life coaching stuff. And yes, sessions are coming. All that's getting set up. It's in cover art right now for the workbooks, because yes, you do have homework. But it really, for me, I think you have to connect with that coach.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost, and it's not therapy, but it's like finding a therapist. You have to be able to connect with them.
Oh yeah. Well, and I don't think that's an inappropriate comparison, because I can understand someone's well, it's not therapy, so it's not like that. And that's true, but you could also make the comparison to a lot of different professions.
Mm-hmm.
That, if there's not a good fit, this really isn't going to work.
And here's an example. I have this problem because we've talked about therapy and that type of thing. Having someone that cannot get the understanding that David on days drives me insane, I'm not going to be able to interlink with them to even help me get there. Or, dealing with two husbands and one of them, is off doing this and the other one's off doing that. If they're still stuck when I have two husbands, I can't connect with them.
Well, there's that. Like, there's a lot of things that I don't think we necessarily think of as fit items. And it was kind of funny. We like went through that recently with like scheduling. Well, actually, I'm having to do a transition. My telehealth therapy appointments. Like my therapist had to go out on maternity leave. And so I get this call. There was a little bit of a mix up, but I get this call, and I'm so conditioned, and I think a lot of us are, to like doctor's offices and this kind of mentality of this is our schedule, and if it doesn't work for you, that's just too bad. Like, good luck. We're not going to really, we're just going to assign you an appointment, and you either like it or leave it.
Right.
And so I started apologizing for the fact that like I can't do 8 a.m. Like no. 8 a.m. is not going to work for me. And so I started apologizing for it. And I will say the really cool response was, well, if that doesn't work, and like I'm filling in the blank in my head, which is like, tough luck for you. Like, take it or leave it. This is all we have. And it's like, well, we'll go ahead and, talk through that and see what we can come up with.
Right.
And that was the whole response. It was really friendly. Like, there's no need. Well, and they literally said, there's no need to apologize for that. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And we're supposed to be here to work for you. And I'm just like, oh, thank you for getting it. Like, I thought I was crazy over here, Okay, we're talking about therapy a little bit when I say that, but it's like sometimes we have these moments, and especially with healthcare, where it's like, am I effing crazy?
Right.
Like, I thought I was hiring you to take care of my health. Like, I thought I was in control of this. I thought I was in the driver's seat. I thought this was my thing. Is trying to fit my healthcare into my world. And then we go through so many practices that's not.
Right. And that's because they forget who the boss is. But
yeah. And get really rigid on like scheduling and like, no, you're gonna do what we say. Like, just, like, we're going to make the bare minimum of effort to help you by, like, scheduling an appointment.
Right.
And that's it. That's it. Like, we're not even going to care where that hits in your day. We're going to get frustrated with you when you're not immediately like, yes, that appointment makes perfect sense for my life, and I'll just fit myself around it.
Right.
Instead of being like, okay, well, this is what we can do. Does that work for you? And it's like, no. What else do you got?
Right.
Because I've run into that. Like, I had the one dermatologist that, like, yeah, they don't do afternoon appointments. Period. End of discussion. We don't do afternoons.
Right.
And it's like, wait, what? Like, 5 days a week you're open, you don't do afternoons. Nope. Not one nope.
Right.
Like, if you see us, it's between 8 a.m. and like noon.
Right. And that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
All right. So, hello, everyone.
Yes,
Shannon,
Shannon and
you.
Devin, Brenda.
Miss Brenda, the coffee's to the left, the oat milk's to the right, and hello, patient passenger. So, Joe, I have a question for you.
Am I the asshole? Is that it?
Yes. Are you the asshole this week? We shall find out. Plead your case.
All right. Am I the asshole for warning my friend about my ex, who she is now engaged to, and telling her to stop complaining about things I warned her about? Am I the asshole? I, 25 female, met Dave, 26 male, in college. We dated, everything was great. We got engaged and moved in together. Within 10 months, I realized he had a serious issue with masturbation, laziness, and some other stuff. Sue, 25 female, has been my friend for years and was supposed to be my maid of honor. She was upset about the breakup, but one day called and said Dave asked her out. This was a few months after the breakup. I'm not a gatekeeper. I just said, Sue, he's not a good guy. You're like a sister to me, and I wouldn't want my sister involved in the same situation I just got out of. I added some, I added some situations. I said, hey, I'm not perfect either, but the relationship was far from balanced and was so toxic. The ring or apartment didn't help. She's a grown ass woman, and I told her to do what she wanted, but seriously. She said she understood. Next week, they started dating. I just removed myself. I had blocked my ex and saw he sent me a message on socials, but blocked and deleted all of it. Now, a year and a half later, side note, I caught my ex trying to mess with my birth control once, which made my sex drive trust just fall and was a big domino in our breakup. He wants kids, yet can't bring himself to shower more than 1 in 3 days. She called me crying. They are now engaged with the ring I gave back to him, and she is pregnant. She's at the end of her line. He doesn't help with the house and pays little on the bills. He told her, his pregnant girlfriend, to go donate blood if she was so worried about money. I let her cry for an hour. How he's lazy and refuses to work, his negative attitude, and how he's sexting bots online, but how it isn't cheating since it's AI. How lazy and shitty he is. She even retold stories that I told her of what he did to me. I felt numb to listen to it and just thank God it wasn't me. This was what I was afraid of. This is why I left him. At the end, I just muttered, Sue, I told you this would happen when you started dating. Not like a sneery jab, just an emotional, honest one. She hung up. She hasn't tried to contact me since. Am I the asshole for trying to tell my best friend forever how my ex was when they started dating and being unsympathetic now that the same things I told her are coming true?
Well, I have a few problems here.
Okay.
Problem one, she's not your best friend.
I don't. Okay.
She quit that job as soon as she went on the first date with him.
I mean, there is that theory that like friends don't date friends as ex or exes. And I totally get that. I don't know that that always has to hold true, because I think there are some times in which that may not be the worst thing to ever happen between friends. I've actually seen like that work out. Like I used to work with two women that like one, it literally like divorced and then got with the best friend. And again, would have thought this is going to blow that friendship straight to hell. Not really. It was a like for the first wife, this was a bad relationship. Like what she was looking for, this is not the person she was meant to be with. This was never going to work.
Right.
Second wife, this was exactly who she needed to be with. This was everything she wanted. And it was just like, you know, I got the right neighborhood, but I knocked on the wrong door.
Nope. You go dating my ex, I'm done with you. That is, you, instead of issuing you a pink slip, you issued me a resignation of my world. First of all, especially if it got to the point of engagement and living together. Like this isn't, oh, we went out a couple times. He's quite boring. This is, he's a fucking idiot and you still want to date him. Goodbye, Charlie.
Well, but here's the thing. For the situation I described, though, it was a, like, all wrong for you, but all right for me.
Right.
Now, I do think there's a problem when you do have, like, if you are properly assessing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there's a little bit of a moment there is like when you sit in judgment of someone else and their likelihood of having a successful relationship, you got to be really objective.
Right.
Like, are you just pissed off at your ex and just you, like, they're negative, they're toxic, they're horrible, they blah, 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 because, like, you just need to be negative? Like, you have to find everything wrong with this person to slam the door.
Right.
And you're not really taking, like, their future partner into account.
Right.
And, like, how well do you know them, which in a best friend forever, or so you thought, situation, are you really evaluating this person as a potential boyfriend for them?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you got it right. You got it right.
Right.
Like,
so that's my first problem is no, she already terminated herself as a friend. Secondly, and I've had the same situation happen, they'll call you because they have your number, they found your number, they tracked you down through tagged pictures and tell you all the bad things about them, and it's like, yeah, that's why they were in the clearance aisle when you picked them up. So do I think she's an asshole for saying, yeah, I told you so? No, not at all. Do it more often.
I don't know, though. I think if you haven't properly cleared the BFF's connection, though, like, no one wants their BFF to sound like, I told you so. I told you so.
Right.
I told you so. No one wants that. No one wants that.
Right.
I think that's probably the first mistake that happened here.
Right.
Is like one of two things needed to occur. You either need to discharge the BFF and be done with that friendship. To be like, you know what? Like, if you think this is going to make you happy, despite everything I think that it will not, that I'm telling you about right now at the beginning, you want to go there. Like, I'm not sitting here waiting for this. Like, you are not my BFF. Like, we're not friends anymore. But you go do that.
Right.
I think should have been your opener. But if you didn't do that, I think, and you continued this friend relationship, I have some problems with the fact that you just immediately shot into, like, told you so. Like, duh. Oh, Brenda's like, Joe's just way too nice. No, like, I have exes, and I will sincerely say this, they're not bad people. They were never right for me. We were not right for each other. I was never going to be right for them. I wish them all the best. I hope that, like, I would sincerely hook them up with people without a reservation and just be like, hi. Like, try this one. They weren't horrible people, but we weren't good together. Like, they weren't horrible to me. I was not horrible to them. We do not hate each other. I just, like, we tried and it failed, and, like, we moved on. And there's no animosity. I know that's my department. Yeah, you have, well, but now granted, like, some of your exes. Like,
no, there's some of your exes I hate with a passion to begin with. Like, as soon as I saw the picture, I'm like, hate you, hate you, hate you, and hate you. You're kind of cute, but you're still dumb as fuck.
Well, yeah, like, I think for some people, yeah, and I'm not saying all my exes are golden and wonderful. Like, I've also got a few that it's like, oh no, the special breed of human being that can, you know, date you is a very unique individual, and I wish them the best. Not you, but I wish them the best. Because ooh, that's a lot to take on, and good luck with that.
Right.
But like, you know, yeah, I would gladly be like, yeah, here's the rundown of screwed up. Just so you're aware and you know. But no, I do have exes that like I would not mind. Like, as in, I could see like at least one of them, like maybe they were in the wrong neighborhood and needed to knock a couple doors down. You know, like a friend of a friend or even a friend. Like, I think they would have done better. I'm not saying it would have ended in like a 50-year relationship, but I think it would have gone better. Like, they had more in common. They were, you know, they would have been better together. No, I didn't date that one for his intelligence. He was really sweet. He still is. Like, he's a really nice guy. But you know, like he's a goofball. But at the same time, it was like this was not gonna work. We had totally different life plans, totally different interests. It just was never gonna work. Like, and we didn't date that long, and like honestly, you know, we actually, that was one I didn't think was going to be a good terms ex until they literally, like, we broke up, they dated someone else, and what I had said when we broke up is I think you have a problem. Understanding that right now you're dating for sex, not having sex within a relationship. And one, I got told, like, you don't know what you're talking about. And two, that is so totally not what's happening. And then it was like a month later or something, they called me and said, hi. So you know that thing you said? I have to, one, apologize because you were dead on the money. Because I just dated someone who did that with me. Like, they were looking for a relationship just to get sex, and so was I. And we quickly realized this was never going to work. And I get it now. Like, I didn't get it when you said it. I thought you were being like cruel or mean or something, but like I get it now. And it's, yeah, I wasn't trying to be cruel. I was just trying to tell you something about yourself, is that like you might want to check that, because you're just doing serial relationships because you're horny. And you think you have to be in a relationship to have sex. And it's like, that's not gonna work for you. Like, you're gonna go through a lot of relationships with a lot of people you know or care little about. And that's not a good look. So anyway, they that next relationship got them over that. They've since figured that out and how to make that work, and it's gone well for them, and we remain friends.
I think that's the only one I like.
Yeah.
The rest of them just need to return to sender.
But again, I don't hate all of them. And I don't necessarily speak to any of to any other but the one, and that's rarely. But the rest, it's like I don't necessarily hate. Like, I don't have anything there. And it's like, you know, I hope you grew up. I hope you made better choices. I hope you resolved some things about yourself. I hope you learned some lessons and, you know, became a different person like 10, 15, 20 years on than you were back then.
Now I want to address this comment. I hope you filled it with broken glass and nails and lots of nasty stuff before you tossed it in the river.
Oh yeah. So anyway, that said though, I'm trying to filter through on the few exes that made it into holy Jesus category. I don't know that I would necessarily care about a friend wanting to date them, but I think I would very quickly try to tell them, "Are you sure? Like, let me run through this because I don't think y'all are compatible, and here's why." Now, you want to go off and try this for a month, like, I will hang around. And I will, in a month time, take on that, like, I'm going to sit here and listen while you complain about literally what I told you. And I'll be okay with that and be like, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. I'm not going to do high feedback. It's going to, yeah, I know. Yep. Yeah, that too. Been there, done that. Have the T-shirt. Tried to give it away, but you pulled it out of the Goodwill bin and put it on. That's basically what happened. So now, please put it back in the Goodwill bin and send it on its way. But after about a month, I would probably have issues. One, I think that would be the point where I'd be like, "Well, you made your choice." You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be part of this after a month. Like, I'm not going to be here and waiting for you to come back. And I doubt if it's a really bad, like any of my, so to speak, bad exes, I don't want to hear it. Ever. Like, I want no part of it. Like, I don't want to know you're happy with them. I don't want to know what you hate about them. I don't want to know. Just already been there, done that. I'm done.
Right. Again, they get the pink slip.
Yeah. That's like after a month. Like, I'll give you a month if you really stupidly think. After I've told you, like, I don't think this is a good match because I can tell you several things that I can immediately see are going to be incongruent. Assuming that's true. Now, there may be a couple, like, I have a couple exes that I really think should have dated each other. If for no other reason than like they had matched luggage. And I think they could be happy together. And then I never want to talk to either one of them again. Like, but I think y'all should date.
Yeah.
Like, just FYI, I think your matched luggage would be amazing. And you can rock that or kill each other. I don't know which. Or both. Bonnie and Clyde it up, whatever you need. But no, outside of that, like on even the really bad ones, if a friend were gonna date them, I'd be like, no, I'm out. You get 30 days. You can go test drive that for 30 days, and then when you inevitably come back and be like, oh my god, then I'm willing to still maintain the friendship as long as you are dumping that one quickly. And like, throw it in the Goodwill pile. We already clarified they are Goodwill.
No, there's some of your exes that don't even go to Goodwill, honey.
Well, no, I haven't sent any of mine to the dump.
Oh, yeah, you have.
Well, I mean, some of them should be. No, it goes in the Goodwill box. I assume Goodwill took care of that and put them in the dump. But no, when they left me, they were alive and kicking and went calmly into the box. I was done. I didn't want anyone to pull them out and be like, no, you should keep this. If you're not going to keep it, I'll keep it. Because that's kind of how I see this situation is like you throw out an old ratty T-shirt because you hate it.
Right.
And then like your best friend is standing there going, no, that's still good. That's still good. I can wear it. I can do this. And they pull it out and it's like, oh, honey, no. Please no. Send that to Goodwill. Like, it's in the donation pile for a reason. Send it on. Just send it on. Just no, we do not pull out of the donation box and salvage. We just send that on. Like, were you not aware? Did we not talk? How you know? And if you need a refresher, I'll give it to you. But otherwise, no, I think at that point I've got to have that conversation personally and be like, nah, I'm out. Like, you had your 30-day free trial, I'm out. Like, this, I don't mean to be ultimatumy, but like, I'm not going to be here for this. This is not conducive to a friendship. For you to be dating someone I really, truly cannot stand and never want to see again. Because this opens you up to the opportunity to, like, because it's going to create a friendship conflict. Like, what do we talk about if you can't talk about who you're with? What do we talk about if every time you try to talk about your vacation, you have to try to avoid saying their name? What happens when I'm just sitting there and I realize the vacation you're talking about was with them? Like, I don't want any part of that. Like, no, I don't need to know. Don't want to know. Don't know. But you didn't do that. I'm gonna go with everyone's shitty here.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm at. And that's a marginal. Like, I don't inherently think you are the total asshole. Like, you deserve awards for your assholeness. I do think, however, it was a little shitty to try to maintain the friendship with the BFF, and a BFF at that, friendship with someone who went on to date your ex you can't stand. Like, not this ended amicably, we just realized we were wrong for each other. I mean, you can't stand them.
Right.
Like,
all right, I'm going with not the asshole, but we'll see where the poll is. It is up on Aeson Knight's YouTube. Feel free to jump in there and vote. All right, so moving on to relationship advice.
All right, highly anticipated date. 28 male left me, 25 female, feeling empty. I feel like I'm on the verge of crying after tonight's date. We've been talking online for almost 3 weeks, and I really looked forward to meeting him. We had many deep conversations both online and tonight, which were about him having a hard time falling in love and getting to know people. When departing, he just said goodbye and zero signs of wanting to meet again. I wouldn't mind a second date, but have a feeling it isn't mutual. Do I text him anything at all? Like, hey, thanks for tonight?
No.
Oh.
When somebody oversells their services, you don't keep chasing the poor service.
Here's the thing, though. It doesn't sound like it went badly. It just literally was the end. Like, he ended the date horribly.
Right.
As in, it was like, we're having a great date, we're having a great date, we're having a great date. Okay, bye.
Right.
Like, not, let's make a plan to meet up again. Let's, like, nothing. You got the, okay, peace. I'm out.
Right.
I don't know if that's just not knowing how to date or if that is zero interest. Like, you had the date, you had the conversation, they tried to play well with others, but they quickly realized there's, this is a one-time thing and it's over.
Right.
Like, or if it's, I'm bad at dating and I don't know what I was supposed to do, so I'm running around like a teenage boy, like, think you're pretty, you're amazing, bye, and running away. Like, it could be either. I think you do need to leave that in their court to see what's next, like if they message or not, or if this is going to be a total ghost. I don't think you need to message to say anything. unless they respond back or message you. And then that's your choice. And I think one of the first things, if you do want to message back, might be to point out, what the fuck was the end of the date about? Like, are you not used to dating? Has it been a while? I mean, 28, like, how long could it have been? Like
3 hours.
You know what I mean? Like, are you just really bad at ending a date and not knowing what to do? Do we need to work on that? Because this is what it felt like. And then at best, you give them a second chance to do better. And then if you're still feeling empty, then yeah, move on quickly. But that's entirely up to you, I would think.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do it at all, because there's a high degree of likelihood this is what the end of every date's going to feel like.
Right. And it's like, nah. Yeah. Why continue? You know, the food at the restaurant cannot be that good. The conversation at the dining room, at the dinner table, cannot be that good. If they cannot, and I do mean cannot, with any degree, at least close a date properly and lived up to everything they talked about in the chat, move on. Next applicant, please.
I see. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I've had some first dates that I really would have appreciated a second date. I sincerely would have. And I've been there with that moment where it's just like we had a great conversation. Everything seemed like it went well. We had a wonderful meal. And then we got we got our checks or the check or whatever. You go through that process. And then it was kind of like walk out of the building and it's like, okay, bye. And it's like, okay, did you just do that because you're free? Like, am I that horrible of a date? Or do you just really not know what to do next? Like, I've had that experience. Pretty much all of those were ghosts. So we'll say you're probably right. You're probably right. There's a zero interest. I've had one that no, that wasn't the situation, and that's why I kind of say that. And no, it didn't really get much better. They were just a little more aware that they weren't good at this part. Like, wow, this was really great. I'm glad we got to meet up. I really hope we get to do it again. Let's talk that out. And that's really the whole close out the date. It's a first date, is what I'm assuming. That's how you close out a first date, if you're interested. Typically, if you're trying to close out a first date where it's like, I'm really glad we got to meet, but I don't know that this is going to work. But it was really nice to meet you, and I wish you well. Good way to easily let down a first date that it's like, yeah, I don't want a second.
Right.
Hey,
I'm already done.
Okay.
No, don't waste your time or energy. Move on. I don't care if he texts you later. He sold them a bill of sale on a highly anticipated date. And it was like nada.
I go with, and again, Brenda's probably going to come back and be like, Joe's too nice. I'll give someone like it was first date nerves. I didn't know what I was doing. I'll give you one.
Right.
Where you get to come back and be like, I'm sorry, I effed up at the end. But then that's it. You're done. If you can't get past the nerves or you can't get better at this, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not doing all the work here. I'm not getting dangled by a thread on every single day and whether or not this is going anywhere. Brenda's like, I didn't say that.
Yeah, he is too nice.
Yes, you did, Brenda.
Yeah, he is too nice. See, And this is why you never have to worry about us being your unicorn hunters, because we date totally differently.
Oh yeah. No, if we have to agree on one person, it's going to be rough. Like, well, and
The
more importantly,
qualifications are going to have to be so divinely detailed.
true. But no, like and again, the rest of the date had to have gone really smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes, see, this is where I have problems with a highly anticipated date, is because that can mean a lot
Right.
for a lot of people.
Right.
And the fact that you've been talking online for almost 3 weeks, sometimes you can talk too much, and like you can hype the date too much.
Mm-hmm.
I've always tried to keep that within a 1-ish week.
Right.
Like if I start talking to someone, we're going on a date within a week.
Right.
Because I do not want to spend 2 or 3 weeks, because it seems like that just overbuilds it. And then by the time you actually get to the restaurant, like, what are you going to talk about?
Right.
You've been talking for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have left? What do you have left to get to know? That really is going to be good and impressive and interesting, because the kind of life a human being has to have 3 weeks worth of material and a first date.
Right.
That's a life.
Right.
At 28, seriously, you've lived enough of a life by 28 that you got 3 weeks worth of material and a solid first date.
Right.
Like, I'm figuring in 3 weeks you've gone through everything and you've had to start the repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, maybe that's a thing, or not a thing, but I think it's a thing. Like, you only have, I think human beings only have so much material to talk about that's like date friendly, that has interest, and you feel like you're learning about a person and who they are, until it's like, no, now you're at repeat. It's just, and it gets more as you get older, but 28? I mean, I would have been struggling after the first week. At 28, I would have been struggling after the first week.
Hey, at 28, I would have already, known their home address by then.
Well, fair. I mean, but I always stuck to the, like, between meet and date is a 1 week.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And if we're having long, deep, complicated conversations until the wee hours of the morning, yeah, I'm going to be struggling by the end of that first week to make it to the date with anything left.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Apparently, I need to clear up some controversy.
Oh no! What did you create?
About my day. To our Patreons.
Oh Lord. What did you do?
I went shoe shopping with Mama Knight.
Uh-huh.
Joe didn't go shoe shopping with me.
No. Oh God, no. We haven't been shoe shopping in a long time. That's because we haven't been anywhere to reasonably do that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the last shoe shopping we did was semi-accidental. Like, we just happened to luck into a place that had our size that we just like going into.
Right.
But typically when we shoe shop, it's a pre-planned event, and we have to be careful with that. Because, like, we got to make sure the stars are aligned and we're in a place that there is hope of finding our shoes. Because we are not in the 8, 9, 10 family. findable shoes.
Right.
We're well above that. More of us, some of us more than others. And depending upon what shoe. But no, it's no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When your shoe size is a 15 and you have to go up to a 16 if you go up to a certain hill strength, then yeah, it's a pre-planned event.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's a women's 15.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, no. Yeah. No, we did not go shoe shopping. He was out with his mommy today. It was
Yeah. Yeah. And I further commented more details on that.
Oh, are you sharing all the comments you made?
No, just the de factos.
Okay.
Like, no, she did not get a balloon. I would have popped it if she did.
Did you have to sign in blood to agree you would never take her back?
Well, she didn't get offered a rewards club.
Fair.
But all right, so let's go look at the poll and see if you're the asshole this week.
Am I the
Keeping
asshole?
around a deadbeat best friend and wasting 3 hours of your life.
Fair.
No, you are not the asshole.
Okay. Like, I don't necessarily disagree because I wasn't at a hard, like, you are the asshole. It is clear and obvious.
Mhm.
I was just a little more like, well, that was probably like you created your own problem here.
Right.
Yeah. Like low key asshole-ish.
Right.
Like you held on to the opportunity to told you so.
Right.
Okay, Blanche, says Brenda. Okay, Blanche. They got your reference.
Uh-huh. Very much so. All right, guys. We will see you on Thursday with Sandy.
We will. Or you will. They will.
Yes.
All right, so of course we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
All right, guys. Good night.
Good night.